Hey everyone, I Saw Bear here, and this is my top 5 games that I played throughout 2019. No, that's about it. Just the games I played throughout 2019. They didn't have to be released in 2019, just the ones I happened to play. Also, it's my channel, I can do what I want. Let's get into it. Number 5 is Red Dead Redemption 2. There's a lot I could say about this game. Too bad there's not a lot I can show of it because for some reason it still doesn't friggin' record on window capture or game capture, so I have to do a display capture, and display capture friggin' sucks. Alright, enough with the rage quitting. Honestly, overall, the game is fine. It's very nice, it's very detailed. I'm glad it's finally on PC. It's the same Red Dead that everyone loved on the console. The animation system in the game is fantastic, the atmosphere is amazing, and just the fact that you can interact with all the NPCs and have, seemingly flushed out conversations with them is honestly something I think a lot of open world games need to strive for.
Well, don't give up on everything just yet. Okay?
But as I said before, the whole debacle about the Rockstar launcher not working, or just simply not running at all, for the week that it was released was a terrible mishap, and it's still having some technical issues down the road. As I said, I still can't record this properly. Trust me, I want to stream Red Dead Online so bad, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Rockstar, fix your stuff! It's still a fun rootin' tootin' cowboy shooting 2 game though.
Voici donc ce qu'est devenu la France. Des parasites qui saignent la révolution à blanc.
I'd skipped over Assassin's Creed Unity way back when it launched for 2 reasons. 1, the game was absolutely broken when it launched. Number 2, Valkyria Chronicles 1 came out on PC that week, so I really wanted to play that instead. However, this year saw the destructive fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral. And I figured to myself, hey, you know what? The game's on sale. I figured I might as well pick it up. Ubisoft made it even better because they actually ended up giving it to me for free after I'd already purchased it, saying that I'd only missed the free deal by a few hours, so here you go, here's a free copy. Just a little side note, you'll notice that free games are gonna be a little bit of a theme for me this year. Anyways, so I played through the story of the game. It was a great chance for me to practice my French because I set all the dialogue to French. Also, it made it more immersive. And I just really enjoyed it. I didn't get particularly deep into the story, I didn't get particularly deep into the characters, but just as a solid run-through of the game, I really enjoyed it. It honestly makes me remember the older Assassin's Creed games, which were all set in 1 or 2 major cities. There's something about walking through a major city and seeing how it changes based on the events of the game. And I thought that was really, really well done with Assassin's Creed Unity and Paris. Also, multiplayer, because that was actually a lot of fun. In the older Assassin's Creed games, you'd really have to be stealthy about your kills and stuff like that. Assassin's Creed Unity's multiplayer was the complete opposite. It's basically a speedrunning competition between anyone who plays it to see how many guards they can kill the fastest on their way to the objective. It's so much fun. Just running up walls and climbing with your teammates, trying to coordinate on the fly as much as possible. When it was free this year, there was actually a lot of people online. I read they even had to boost the number of servers they had for the sheer amount of people now playing the game. So years later, and an otherwise completely broken mess of a game, turned out to be a pretty solid game. At number 3, is Surviving Mars. This is a Paradox interactive game. I'd never played a Paradox game up until this point. This was also available for free on the Epic Game Store. So I figured, hey, why not? It looks like a city builder, looks like a lot of fun. I've played city builders before, SimCity, Banished, things like that. And I actually ended up really falling in love with this game. I'd always read books and looked up documentaries about space as a kid, and this really reinvigorated that whole aspect of my life for a few weeks, even finding a fantastic YouTube channel by the name of Astrum, who just talks about how cool space is and what the latest discoveries are. Highly recommend it if you want some of that. But yeah, Surviving Mars has a lot of interesting details, and it mixes up the city builder formula a little bit. You actually have set objectives based on which funding agency you go with, and there's random events that happen in your playthrough that are mysteries and that you can discover what they're all about, and they even impact your gameplay. For example, in this game, I was basically invaded by these weird shifting cubes, and my scientists were on their way to figuring out how exactly they functioned. If you saw my other gameplay video I released of Surviving Mars, you'll know that I accidentally triggered a terrorist attack on my colony because I discovered something I shouldn't have discovered. Can't shake the feeling that this is somehow related to recent activities of your expedition. What the fuck? Oh my god. It destroyed 5 buildings, 10 colonists are dead, and 35 have been injured? But yeah, there's just a lot of really cool details baked into this game. And I just want to mention, unlike the movie The Martian, the sunsets on Mars on that movie are displayed as red. But that is incorrect. Sunsets on Mars are actually blue because of the lack of oxygen. You can see this from some of the rover pictures, and they got it right in this game. So, suck it, Hollywood. Number 2 on the list.
House, or oikos, was a residence for Greek families and their slaves. Contrary to modern houses, which look outward, the Greek household was built to look inward on a courtyard. The courtyard was the house's central fixture. It was the building's main source of daylight, and also the location of religious altars dedicated to worship. The building itself was made up of familiar accommodations, including bedrooms, storage rooms, a kitchen, and a living room. Women were generally in charge of tending to the home, which in Greece was called oikonomia, a term that inspired the modern word economy.
Nope. It's almost an Assassin's Creed game, but it's not. This is actually the Assassin's Creed Odyssey's discovery tours of ancient Greece. So one thing I've always loved about the Assassin's Creed game is how they set their games historical periods. I love history. If you watch my channel, know me as a person, you know that I love history. And the older Assassin's Creed games kind of mixed those elements in with the actual gameplay, but you kind of had to discern what was real and what was more historical. Now in the later games, like Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey, they've divided the hard history information section of the game out and created their own kind of game mode within the game. These Discovery Tour updates were free with Origins and Odyssey, but they can also be purchased separately as like a $20 package. And I just loved walking around, no combat, no missions, no story, no nothing, just walking around, seeing what ancient Greece might have looked like. Obviously, they can't recreate it 100%, but I think they did a pretty good job. I should know, I've been there before. Well, I mean the modern equivalent anyways. And just seeing all that come to life, seeing the tours and all the information they gather from historians to put in, and allowing you to tackle it in a way where you're free to explore and free to learn at your own pace. A big step up from Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tours is that all the tour guides are now historical characters within the game that are all fully fleshed out, and a lot of them are just really fun to interact with.
Delphi is situated on which mountain? No. You may want to check a map.
Greetings, Wanderer. It is my pleasure to introduce you to a unique tour. One that won't take you to impressive landmarks or famous battle sites, but through a typical Athenian home.
And of course, it's just a beautiful game. I mean, I spent so much time just running around taking screenshots. A lot of these are now my desktop backgrounds. So yeah, beautiful experience, and just really fun from start to finish. I wish there were more tours I could do in this, because I had so much fun learning. And lastly, number 1. take it some of you weren't expecting this. If you've heard me talk in person, you'll know this was my game of the year from the second I started playing it. River City Girls is an homage by Way Forward to River City Ransom and the original Kunio games. It's chock full of references that all the lore seekers would know about. But if you're like me and have never actually played River City Ransom or any of the Kunio games, it doesn't matter, because it's still just an amazingly fun beat 'em up. You can play it single player or you can play it co-op. There's so many movesets to learn and upgrades to get, items to buy, and it's all wrapped in this beautifully animated, fantastically scored, fun old school beat 'em up. The two main characters, Kyoko and Misako's boyfriends, have been captured, and you have to literally beat up everyone in the city until you find them. Simple as that. I love that the boss fights use old 8-bit music. It really harkened back to the old SNES and NES days of old school beat 'em ups. And running through the campaign with a friend is just so enjoyable.
Get over here!
The music by Megan McDuffie is one of the best soundtracks I've heard, and I was very disappointed it wasn't nominated at the Game Awards this year, because I've been listening to this soundtrack non-stop since September, since I first played it at PAX. The writing is really over the top and campy, but that's exactly what it is, and for what it is fantastic. From start to finish, I rage quit multiple times, got really fed up with the control schemes that I had to download a mod to quote-unquote fix it, and yet I still enjoyed every boss fight, I still enjoyed every encounter, and still enjoyed every joke they had in the game.
Those girls seem nice.
Yeah, but they're crazy.
Oh?
They think they're dating Kunio and Rookie.
What? They better not be!
Relax. Their brains are just broken.
They'd be a lot more broken if they ever touch my Ricky! Ugh.
If a game can make you angry and quit and still want more, I think that's pretty solid Game of the Year material. So one thing I learned this year with the games I played is that I really got to experiment again. I was locked in for a few years, just saving my money and relying on games that I'd already been playing. But this year kind of reminded me, especially with all the free games Epic is doling out and other companies are doling out to try and get customers in, is that, yeah, it's fun to experiment, and usually the things that you're not expecting to satisfy you catch you off guard and then leave you feeling really good about having played through them. Anyways, that's enough with me ranting. I'll leave this video running a little bit longer, because I want you guys to see exactly the moment when I played this at PAX way back in September, when I thought to myself, no, I have to own this game, and I have to play it all the way through. Anyways, that's enough yapping for me. Let's go beat up some people and take their lunch money. Bear,
Jeez, what if she
out.
is?
You gonna let a 300-pound security guard stand between you and Ricky?
No?
Today is School Spirit Day. Show your school spirit by destroying those